Hey there you guys, Shaun here, another day, another vlog. So today is the beginning of a brand new chapter in my vlog series, and yes, this is pre-recorded, so unfortunately for whatever reason I decided to upload this video today, and this is a series that I wanted to work on for quite a long time and tell you guys because a lot of you probably been wondering what exactly have I been doing with my entire life, like what kind of schooling have I done. So this series of videos in this playlist I'm going to be creating for my school years, I'm going to tell you guys the different stories and events that happened in my lifetime when I was at school, high school, and moving on to community college and then on to CSUN. Now, actually, I should rephrase that by saying it was public school, then homeschooling. Not just high school, but it was homeschooling. But anyways, over here to my right is the place where my school years first started back in 93, 94. So, yeah, the room right over here to my right is my kindergarten room. This is GCS, or Grace Community School. Well, it used to be, but not anymore because the school is no longer around. But back in the day when I was coming here, it was Grace Community School, and it was a fantastic school. I loved the teachers back then. I mean, I have a much better appreciation for them now, but back then, not so much, because I was a bit of a troublemaker, and when you guys hear these videos or watch these videos, you'll get some of the stories and little details of what happened behind the scenes. I first started kindergarten in 93, 94, somewhere in there, and it was my first time ever being in a classroom. There were some things that were happening because I didn't know anybody in the classroom. I think I knew a couple of people, a couple of kids actually, and the teacher in this class was Joe Hendricks. He was my kindergarten teacher. Phenomenal guy, very bizarre fellow, because he was an older gentleman, but he did things in the class that technically some kids wouldn't want to do in kindergarten, like do these long reports about all sorts of stuff. Like, for example, do you think a kindergartner should do a report on, say, the continent of Australia or the state of Washington? I actually had to write a report, and well, my parents helped me out a lot because I didn't know anything about Australia. I was in kindergarten, and I also did a report on, I think, trains at one point, and yes, I even did I actually did a report on the state of Washington, and I'm trying to remember, I do have footage somewhere of me actually practicing my report for kindergarten for the state of Washington, and there's some funny little bloopers, and if I find that, I will post it somewhere, but it's pretty funny. You guys are gonna love this.
My report is on the state of Washington.
That's my dad.
My name is Shaun, and my report is on the state of Washington.
Not supposed to do that.
I can't see.
The capital of Washington is
Completely forgot my lines. I didn't have glasses at this time.
capital is Olympia. Okay? That was the second.
Go. What's your name?
My name is Shaun, and my report is on the state of Washington.
A little 3D action there.
My report is on...
Go.
My report is on...
Try it again.
My name is Shaun, and my report is on the state of Washington.
That is my voice, by the way.
Capital of Washington is Olympia. Okay? The abbreviation is the WA.
The WA, like WB. Or the CW.
Washington is in the northwestern part of the United States.
Remember, I'm like 5, okay?
This is the flag of Washington. It has a picture of George Washington on it. That's because Washington
Get a little blurry.
after George Washington.
You notice in the background how big how small the television is?
By and by.
What? You can hear the camera as it's zooming in.
The restaurant
The Evergreen State.
The nickname of Washington is the Evergreen State.
I think I just repeated myself.
Washington, it is not in Washington, so every day will be green.
I'm sorry,
Washington.
Oh, I guess that's the end. All right, here we go. This is it. This was my kindergarten room. Not a whole lot has changed in a very long time. So the room has remained relatively the same. These bulletin boards have been in here pretty much the whole time I've been coming here. And the layout of the room was as follows. You had maybe 2 or 3 big tables here. Another table going in this direction, looking towards the whiteboard, which has still been there to this day. Then there were more tables going in this direction. Up on the bulletin board, he had a whole bunch of names and like the months, and we had like special green, red, and yellow stickers. Green meaning that we had a good day, yellow, red. And he did have a desk. It wasn't this one, unfortunately. But what's funny is that I don't remember if it was every week or every month. I think it was actually every week. He would have a new, what he called king and queen, and they would be sitting right here in the midsection of the classroom. He had one school desk here and one school desk there, and he would have a boy wear a boy crown or king crown, and a queen wearing a pink queen crown, basically. And they were made out of paper. They weren't really anything interesting. We used to have little cabinets here where we stuffed all of our backpacks and lunch. Mine was right here, and the cupboards are still here. And mine, I think they're a little bit smaller, but mine, I believe, was either that one or one of these. I think it might have been this one, because I was number 3, okay? That's why I like number 3 so much, because I had number 3 since kindergarten, obviously. We would talk about the day, like what day it was. We have like this big calendar. What was it? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. And he would also have a weather board. Now, what he would do is that he had the kids in a particular order, so mine was number 3. So when it was my turn, I would say today is, let's say, Wednesday. And if we wanted to look at the weather, we would come out here, look out this door, and look at the weather. And if it was sunny, we would put sunny up here. If it was cloudy, we put cloudy. If it was raining, then it'd be raining. There were some moments where it got a little crazy. I remember we had a Christmas concert that we held in the worship center. We had, I believe, like International Day or something. I remember, okay, so this is one of the things about Mr. Hendricks that was really peculiar. So he was a huge proponent of wanting to pull out kids' teeth. Yeah, so instead of the parents pulling out the first tooth, he would have the first cut and actually pull out the kid's teeth first. And I remember I lost my first tooth. I think it was one of my teeth right here in the front. And I remember it was so loose, it was practically falling out. And I told him that my dad wanted to pull it out, but nope. He whisked me aside, pulled it out. My dad was upset because he wanted to pull it out himself. Now, you would actually get some special little treats, if you know what I mean, when you lost a tooth. He had this little system that he called Buddy Beagles. Now, Buddy Beagles were basically little stickers that were laminated. It was like a currency for the kindergarten room, and you would collect a certain number of Buddy Beagles, and you get certain prizes. You get like a bag of M&Ms, a bag of Skittles, these little dinky plastic toys or whatever. Stuff that you probably get at like the really cheap claw machine or 99-cent store stuff. Let me just say that if you actually got a tooth pulled here in the classroom, you would get your name stuck right up there on that bulletin board right up there. Now, what's funny is that if you lost a tooth, but it wasn't here in the classroom by Mr. Hendricks, you wouldn't get your name posted up on the board. So you kind of got a little gypped there. And I remember I was pulling my teeth and like I wanted to get on that board so bad. I think I was up there maybe 2 or 3 times because I lost one tooth here. And remember I mentioned about International Day where we had like all these kids, some of the kids actually came dressed as their native costumes. They actually brought out all these different dishes here, and for some reason, I don't remember exactly what happened, but it just happened so suddenly. What happened was that, I think it was this tooth here that was loose, and what happened was, I literally was sitting right here in this spot, and I guess I did something to my mouth where it made it super loose, and then boink, it popped right out. But I was looking around going, oh my gosh, you know, I lost a tooth, but where was it? It was up in the air, came down, plop, and I was like, and then Mr. Hendricks actually pulled me aside. He's like, well, I know I didn't pull out your tooth, but you lost it in the classroom, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a bonus here. So, but he didn't put my name on the board, though, for lost teeth. But anyways, that was a fun story. There were some good times back then, but let's just say there were also some bad times. I'm about to tell you one right now. So, I don't know how this happened or when it happened. I think it was near the end of the school season, and one of my friends decided to have some sort of special little race inside the classroom. Now, you're never supposed to run inside the classroom. So two of my friends, I'm not going to mention who they are, they got up and started running around the classroom. Around the desks, around the front. Yep. And wouldn't you know it, I saw it, and you can probably guess what happened. I decided to join them because I needed to get exercise because I was stupid and fat. But little did I know that he would catch us and he'd be furious about it, and he sent all three of us to a corner. So that wasn't the best day of my life, obviously. And worse actually happened because it was during my year in kindergarten when my grandfather, my mom's dad, passed away. I don't remember exactly what all happened, but I know he had some heart failure. His heart stopped beating a number of times. He had multiple heart surgeries. It was just really bad to a point where his body couldn't handle it, so unfortunately he passed away. I think it was in January. And I was sad, of course, but I didn't really understand the whole meaning of death, so I wasn't really affected by it. But it wasn't until like maybe a few weeks of visiting my grandmother and not seeing him, I was like, oh, he's no longer here. And also, when I was in kindergarten, we had the Northridge earthquake. And I was awakened by my dad grabbing me out of my bed and hustling over towards the hallway of our house. And I remember going to my grandparents' house, which is actually in Northridge, and there was a lot of damage out there. Like, there were gas pipes that had broken, buildings that were on fire, whole freeway overpasses had collapsed. Buildings had been severely damaged, a lot of property damage, a lot of stuff had been destroyed. We didn't get hit super bad. I know that some things fell off the shelves and all that, but my grandparents' place, they got some really bad damage. Like, they used to have a special, like, ceiling that had wood and it got cracked, so they had to replace it. There were places where in the cement it needed to be fixed. I think the pool got damaged because if you guys remember from my educational series videos, that we used to have a pool in the backyard, and the pool got damaged, unfortunately, so we had to re-cement that. There were things that broke inside the house. It was a mess. So the Northridge earthquake so far has been like the worst earthquake or natural disaster that I've actually experienced. So right before I go, we used to enter the classroom right over here. Now right where this cabinet is, there used to be a door that led into a room, and unfortunately that got covered up because there's now an office back there. But we used to have 4 different rooms here. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms. I think number 1 was electronics. Number 2, I forget what was in here, but number 3, we had Legos in here, and number 4, we had like a Q&A with like the parents or whatever. Like, they would come in and have like Bible verses or something, because this is Grace Community School, so it's a Christian school, and the parents would come in to help. And I remember some of the students from like 6th and 5th grade would come in as like TAs for like part-time. And you know, kindergarten was pretty much fun. We had some experiences outside of the classroom. We had some birthdays. We had celebrations in here for different birthdays and all. And I forget what we did for like the holidays or whatever. I think we just Mr. Hendricks probably decorated his entire, classroom and all that. He even invited some of us to his house, which was interesting. Anyways, so this is the kindergarten room. This is where it all started. This is where it all began. And I remember we used to look up here for like the different letters of the alphabet. And I'll tell you more about what this is all about in a different video for another time. But this is it, you guys. This is the kindergarten room from 1993-94. And I'm actually glad that I passed. And next time, I'll talk to you guys about what happened when I was in first grade. By the way, before I completely forget, this room that we're in right now will be refurbished in the next few months because they're refurbishing the entire building. So it's going to be sad to see a lot of this stuff go, but you know what? It's full of memories. And like I said a few minutes ago, I will talk to you guys more about what happened later on in the school season, because I actually came back here, not for kindergarten a second time, but for a different time. But that's a story for another time. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed my little story time here at Grace Community School here, kindergarten. Yeah. And I'm sorry to say, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Joe Hendricks unfortunately passed away a couple years ago, so that was pretty sad. Anyways, if you guys liked the video, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Thank you so much for watching. End scene.